For the majority of my life, I've felt like a pretty awkward and anxious person, and it hasn't been till like the past maybe 4 years that I've started to really come out of my shell socially. Specifically, starting conversations was always a struggle for me. One strategy that I found to make it a little bit easier was to ask a silly question. This is especially effective because not only can you get an idea of how people think, but you can also spin off into fun hypotheticals and problems of thought. A personal favorite of mine is the bank robbery question. If you know me personally, there's a good chance you've heard me ask this before. The question goes, if you were to rob a bank and you could have 3 animals to be on your heist team, which animals would you pick and how would you rob the bank? Additionally, in order to prompt more creative responses, I added the limitation that you may not choose any big cats or apes. The main reason for this is almost everyone's first thoughts will be something along the lines of gorilla, tiger, lion, or chimp. So I'm going to share some of my personal favorite responses that I've gotten to this question. One thing I find to be pretty amusing is a lot of people will choose to have one of their animal slots filled up with just a pure distraction. It'll be something along the lines of, I'm going to take a hippo, because if I bring a hippo to the bank, they're not going to be like, oh my god, they're robbing the bank. They're going to be like, oh shit, there's a hippo at the bank. Even though there's a lot more utilization you could probably have with this hippo, a lot of people will still choose to just have it as a distraction, and I find that to be quite funny. Another answer that I think is quite good, and honestly much more useful than the distraction animal, is the carrying animal, or the storage animal. Some of the less creative answers for this will be things like horse or donkey, where you can just load up a lot of cargo. But sometimes people get real clever with answers such as kangaroo or pelican, where they have a built-in storage system and you can just fill the pelican's beak and have it fly away. And I think those are really good answers. Aside from those, the most common answers are definitely muscle. Things like rhinoceros or bear are really just what come to people's minds. And those are honestly probably the correct answer as far as the logistics of robbing a bank, even if they are a little more boring than some of the other ones. Really, so long as the person has fun with the question and gives 3 animals, that's all I'm really looking for. Anyways, as far as this drawing goes, this is an older drawing, so I've had plenty of time to self-critique and find things that I don't necessarily like about it, but we'll start with the good. I think I did a really good job with the color palette. I quite like the pink of the face. I think it adds a nice visceral quality to it. I also like the colors I chose for the arms. I think that they all resemble skin tones a little bit, but are also departed enough that it kind of adds some uncanny valley. I also surprised myself with the hands. Like any other artist, I struggle drawing hands, and I think that each of these looks pretty good. I'm also quite happy with how just one color difference for shadows conveys the lighting quite well. I think it adds a lot of form to the arms and the face, which you'll see in a second. For those of you familiar with digital art, I believe this is the first time I ever used a multiply layer, so here's to learning, I guess. One complaint I do have as far as the shading goes is I wish in hindsight I made the face even more wrinkly. I think that there's some form to it, but the skin could definitely have a lot more crinkles, especially where the hands are meeting the face. Add these like comic book style dots in the background, which is something I really like actually. I think it looks very cool, and I actually do it in some other pieces. So I guess keep an eye out for comic book dots as a motif in my work. I put these arrows down just to get a good idea of the lighting so that I can do some like cast shadows, but I don't know how successful it really was. Pretty far into the drawing for a canvas flip, but still did it. Now, the title The Scramble, as well as the background, for whatever reason made it Mars themed. I don't know why it's Mars themed, but I was trying to do like some loose narrative thing that I don't think really worked. So here I'm doodling a rocket ship that'll just get scrapped later. Last thing I'll say about color theory. The background is greenish blue because I wanted it to still resemble a sky, but I wanted some green to be complementary to the pink. And that's also why the middle ground ended up orange, was to contrast with the blue of the sky. So yeah, that's the finished drawing basically. I scrapped the title, added some clouds, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Anyways, thanks for watching my second video. Please comment your thoughts, even if they're hurtful. I want to hear them.
And also, someone let me know how I can make my P's stop puffing my microphone. Yeah, that's all. Like and subscribe.